one time. Now, it's true that we don't see each other as often as I would like because of our ages and our activities, but I still think of you, and I hope you think of me. I want you to all sit down and enjoy a new, beautiful dinner that was prepared by Signature Grad. So please sit down and enjoy yourself. And you're going to hear wonderful music where if you want to dance, you can dance to it. If you want to just hear it, you'll hear it. That's up to you, but it's here and it's lovely. Your dinner is going to have a special dessert which was prepared by Signature Grad for my party. Lastly, I want you all to get a picture of yourself that they will take of you either when you come in or where you're sitting down, so you will have a memento of yourself at my party. And now I want to say welcome again. Thank you for coming to my 90th birthday party.
That just being born in 1929, I mean, how would you love to be born in the year that the stock market crashed? However, I would say that it helped my dad in the way that he had a very close family. All I ever heard about was my grandparents, Sadie and Sam, and they were each one of 8 brothers and sisters. So my dad had a zillion aunts, uncles, cousins. Of course, 2 of his brothers are here today, my Uncle Alan and my lovely Aunt Arlene, and my Uncle Gerald, and my lovely cousin, Aunt Veronique, and my cousin Brian. So we have a lot of family. So I'm going to talk about 8 things that my father gave me. 1, family. So thank you, Dad, for showing me how important family is. The second thing, common sense. Okay, now my father, as you know, his career was always in sales. My dad told me he sold newspapers when he was about 5 or 10, as soon as he could. He sold pots and pans. He sold shoes. He sold so many things, but eventually he turned it into a profession, and he sold coatings and chemicals and plastics to the automotive, and he really made it go of all of his relationships. So the second thing my dad taught me was my common sense and to be a little bit of a salesperson. So the next thing my dad did was he decided it's time to go into the service, as everyone did in those days, and Dad joined the Coast Guard. Little did he know, he had no sea legs. My dad was so seasick the entire time he was in the Coast Guard. But you know how you have that have one family story. Our family story is give a salami to the boy in the army. So when my dad was in the Coast Guard, one of his aunts sent him a salami, and he decided, I'm going to take this back with me. I'm going to enjoy it back in port. So he let it sit in his locker, and when he went to eat it, it was rotten. So the point of it is, share. My dad taught me the value of sharing whenever you have something. Not only was he giving to be in the Coast Guard, but share what you have. So the next thing was loyalty. My dad married my mom back in 1956. And I always said, how come he married mom? Why her? There was a zillion girls. We all know how handsome my dad was. And my mom was a nurse, and her family belonged to the temple. And he felt that my mom was a really good person and would make a really good mom. And as many of you know, my mom had MS and eventually had cancer. But my dad was amazing. He stood by her side. So my dad taught me the next trait, which was loyalty. So, the next thing my dad taught me was a work ethic, okay? So my dad had a flourishing business with all these people, the automotive and chemicals and all these different things, but he actually worked out of our home so that he could be there when any of us kids needed him. So he even had a laboratory in the garage which he brought to their home in Weston and Bay Isle. So my dad taught me the most important thing to do no matter what your circumstance is have a good work ethic. So then, the next important thing that happened in my dad's life after my mom passed was meeting Ruthie. But the funny thing was, he didn't meet Ruthie for the first time. He actually met Ruthie through many years because his wife, Ruthie's daughter, Karen, and I were college roommates in college. And we actually were all together at graduation with Ruthie and her former husband that passed away, my mom, everyone, and so now I have a wonderful stepmom, Ruthie. So Dad and Ruthie traveled everywhere. They lived in Detroit, they lived in Michigan, they had all these different things that they did together. But they happened to go to St. Petersburg, Florida. And one of their friends actually had started something called RMD, which was for getting ambulances to go to Israel. And they said, we can do this. Let's do this in Weston. Fortunately, the Epsteins are here, and my dad and Ruthie started an RMD chapter, and bottom line is they taught me the value of philanthropy and giving back. So there's two more things I'm going to go through, which is generosity, which Father, God bless you, always cared more about giving to others than himself. Dad would never buy a Hallmark card, but let me tell you something, the beautiful notes he'd write inside a piece of paper would have put Hallmark out of business many, many times over. So, the last but not important thing that I want to say about my dad, of course, is that Dad taught us love. He's been a wonderful father, a wonderful grandfather. He cares deeply for all of us, and basically all of you. So planning this party was definitely a challenge because my dad had very specific things that he wanted. He wanted every single one of you to take home a picture of yourselves at his party so you could remember it. He wanted it to be special. He wanted you to make sure you had the food that you loved. And he wanted to make sure that each of you had a great time here. He also taught me love of his grandchildren, who made sure that everything that they did, that they had their education, that he was in every one of their games and their plays and everything else. So without further ado, I'll mention 8 things that I love about you, Dad. Your love of family, the common sense you taught me, how to share, how to be loyal, have a good work ethic, how to be philanthropic, generous, and above all, how to love. So, Dad, I don't think I could think of anything more than to say I love you, happy birthday, and thank you all so much for being here. Celebrate my dad.
Okay, as the oldest grandchild, you've always been there for me every step of the way, especially when I had so many special needs to deal with. You have taught me I could overcome any obstacle that came my way, earn my college degree, and pursue all of my passions. If I just tried harder, you made me feel I could do anything if I set my mind to it. Your voice is always in my head saying, just do it. Lauren, you got this.
As the middle child, you made sure I never felt like the middle child. You set a great example of always being a leader. I've been inspired by the way you've motivated people to be philanthropic, and I have such fond memories of us playing tennis, visiting me in college at the Florida State football game. You have always encouraged me to further my education and to obtain my master's degree. To this day, you still check with me to make sure I'm being my best self, the superstar you always see me as.
I have Papa's love times 3. I was not only the youngest, but the only boy in the family. You encouraged me to try new activities and expand my horizons. From playing ice hockey, to flying model airplanes, to playing golf, and to growing a DJ business, I've finally fallen in your footsteps as being an entrepreneur and a salesman. A superstar just like you. You cheered me on while getting my college degree and taught me the value and importance of an education, which has helped me grow my career, and I will always thank you forever.
Papa, you had ears that truly listen, arms that always hold, love that never ending, and a heart that's made of gold.
Papa, you may have some silver hair, but your heart is pure as gold.
Papa holds our hands for a while, but our hearts for a lifetime.
Papa is someone you can look up to, no matter how tall you grow.
Some people don't believe in heroes, but they have not met our Papa.
The recipe for our Papa is a dash of mentor, a pinch of teacher, and a full helping of a best friend.
I love you, Papa.
I love you, Papa.
I love you, Papa.
We love you, Papa. Happy birthday.
You know, I'm here tonight with my family, and I'm one of those type of people that's very sentimental, right? And tonight is just something so special for me and for my family. When my brother is 90 years old, and I think about all of those times we were together and are together. And one time was kind of special. And I'll tell you this story. We just moved into our house on Sussex. And my brother was coming home on leave from the Coast Guard. And I sit in that front window, and I was probably 5 years old. I don't think I was older than that. I stayed up there all night waiting for him. I stayed all night waiting for him because he was so special, you know. And all my family is special. I love all. I love you all. You know, that's all it is to me is family. It's always been to me family. So I want to go ahead and just say that I'm really proud of you, Richard. I'm proud of you. 90 years old. You look great. And I just hope that we're here in another 90 years. Grandma knows whatever she wants.
Grandma.
Yes.
All right, you go first.
She's just like wandering up here, okay? So she'll stand with you while you talk. Go ahead.
There you go.
Yay, Grandma.
I'm Brielle. I'm Karen and Scott's daughter and Ruthie and Richard's granddaughter. And my sister Shelby, and we express ourselves through music. And so I was thinking about what I could share for my amazing Papa Richard on this amazing night of his 90th birthday party. So I want to sing a song that I wrote. I've actually been working the last 10 days with my sister, recording a bunch of music that I wrote. And this song is called Elohai Neshama. Music that I write is like religious, spiritual, Jewish music. And I thought that of everything that I've written, this was the perfect thing to share for my Papa Richard, because the words, this is a prayer that's typically said when one wakes up in the morning, and it says, Elohai Neshama Shenatata Bi Tehorahi V'Kol Hazman Sheneshama B'Kirbi Moda Ani Lefanecha. So, which means, God, the soul that you've given me is pure, and all the time that my soul is within me, I will be grateful. And I feel like that is the perfect thing to share for my Papa Richard, because Papa Richard, you have the most beautifully pure soul that you share with my grandma and with all of your friends and all of us who are so lucky to be your family. And 90 years is a lot of time to have pure soul. It's a lot of gratitude to accumulate. So I, on behalf of me and my sister, want to share this song for you.
We're waiting.
She's prepared.
No, I meant her. I was trying to put pressure on her.
No, she doesn't need to be pressured. She's perfect. Okay. Elohai Neshama Shenatat Yavi Tebora Bi Elohai Neshama Shenatat Yavi Tebora Bi Ve'at Yabarat Ve'at Yayitzat Ve'at Yanifat Elohai, the spirit that you gave me, she is pure, purely me. Elohai, the spirit that you gave me, she is pure, purely me. You created me, formed who I would be, a planted holy seed that's blooming. You created me, formed who I would be, a planted holy seed that's blooming. V'kol hazman shehanshama b'kirbi moda'ani. V'kol hazman shehanshama b'kirbi moda'ani. She'at yabarat, she'at yayitzat, she'at yanifat li. is free. However long the Spirit sings her song within me, she is free. You created me, formed who I would be, a planted holy seed that's blooming. You created me, formed who I would be, planted holy seed that's blooming. And like a shaman, Shana Tatyabi, Tevora, Tevoradi, Bethel Hasman, Shehan Shama, Bekirbi, she is free.
When I say something, it's always a little bit rock and roll, dramatic, soft, and loud. But anyway, thank you, my darling child. And
Say something to Richard.
yeah.
Say something to Richard. To Richard. Say something to Richard.
No, he was there. He's already.
Your husband. Right? I want you to say something to your husband.
What do you think I'm here for? I'm so sorry, but I have to tell you one thing first, that I have lost much of my,
We know what you're saying, Mommy. We know what you're saying. Go for it. You just have to smile, and that's all you have to do.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so what I want to tell you though, even though I am not the same person, Ruthie Gottlieb, but I wouldn't miss that. Anyway, for whatever it is that I didn't give to you, is that you have to learn to keep going. There is no way to do it with you thinking, that is right, my dear. You always have to go for the best. And this funny little thing that has happened to me, and it's not anything, because I say it as I do it. And may the good Lord make all these words that are here. The first is from my, where are you, baby? Oh my God. With that, I love you all, dear God. I love you. Okay.